This video is going to prove to you how simple building muscle and completely changing your physique actually is. So many people overcomplicate things online. However, you just need to know the simple things and you just need to master and crack down on the basics, and that is what is truly going to make you progress. In today's video, I'm going to talk to you guys about how I have completely shaped my physique over the past 5 years, and I genuinely only attribute it to a 3-step framework, and there are a few principles inside each step, and that is all you need to build muscle and completely change your physique if you act on it consistently. This framework that I'm talking about is called TDR: training, diet, and recovery. As simple as that. Follow this framework, master those 3 things, and you will make all the progress in the world that you want. Now, inside this 3-step framework, if we open it up, there are some variables that we're going to be talking about, and these variables on a surface level are the only things that I have concerned myself over and that you would need to worry about. And these things are the only things on a basic level that have helped me completely transform my physique, bench 315 pounds, feel confident on the beach, a whole host of these things. If we go into the first step of this 3-step framework, which is the training side of things, there is only 5 things that I have concerned myself over this period of time. The first thing, which is going to be a common denominator over all of the 3 pillars of this framework, is consistency. Because if you're not putting in the work, then you're not going to give your body a reason to change, because it's through challenging your body and essentially forcing it to grow that you will see transformation. To get consistent with these things, you don't want to be performing anything at the highest level. You don't want to try and be perfect with the things that we're going to be talking about today. Just focus on getting consistent at a surface level. So eating a few times a day, going to the gym a few times a week, and making sure you're getting your sleep good. Build up from the bottom. The second principle, or the second important basic in terms of training, is making sure you're following a consistent routine. It is through a routine that we allow ourselves to progress over time. If you're switching things up every week, this is a recipe for disaster, because what if I asked you to get good at a skill but you only had 1 week to learn it and then you had to move on to another skill? You wouldn't get good at it because you're not giving yourself enough time, therefore you're not going to learn enough. It's through allowing things time that we get good, therefore through getting good we can make them work. Just to give you a bit of fresh air, there is no best training program. All of these other guys, you know, the people that you see at the gym, the most muscular guy, they got big on their own way. So there is no best training program. It's just about being consistent and making adjustments to what you find best as you go, and you get that through experience, and you get experience through consistency of practice of same habits over time. And I would only recommend going to the gym 3 to 5 times a week. Very quickly before we continue, if you do want access to a training program that has been proved to work, and I'll give you an example, one of my community members posted this transformation the other day and he has been following the workout program. If you want access to this, then it's going to be the top link in the description. It is a very simple, very easy to follow workout plan. The third thing that you need to concern yourself over with training is called progressive overload. Now, what does progressive overload mean? Increasing the difficulty of your training sessions over time. Now, this can be done through many different variables, which we're actually going to get onto after this as the other important things. If you're not challenging your body, if you're not increasing the difficulty of your sessions, then you're not giving your body a reason to progress, because our body is built and optimized to survive its surrounding environment. If you're facing it against resistance that it's already used to, so for example, if you are lifting with 135 pounds on bench press and you're still lifting with 135 pounds on bench press 6 months later and you're doing the same amount of reps, your chest isn't going to grow anymore, because your body knows, oh, okay, I've done this before, so I don't need to adapt in order to survive this. However, it's through progressive overload, increasing the difficulty of your sessions, that you force your body to adapt and grow. The next principle that you need to concern yourself over is technique, the form of the exercise, how you perform in repetition. This is the number one most important thing regarding muscle growth in the gym. Without performing the exercise correctly, then you're going to struggle to make progress over a period of time. If you can't kick a ball properly in football, then how do you expect to become a better football player? You need to make sure that you prioritize your technique. So for example, with bicep curls, make sure that you keep your elbows still near your body, so only your bicep is working. Final thing that I want to consider in terms of training is training harder than last time. again, if you don't give your muscle a reason to grow and your body a reason to adapt to the training, then it's just going to stay the same, because all the body optimizes for is a state of homeostasis. So that basically means staying comfortable, staying the same, and not making changes. Now, that obviously doesn't align with muscle growth because we need to force it. So you need to train harder than last time. If you got 8 reps on a set, try and get 9 reps. On to the second pillar, which is diet. Diet is like the fuel to the car. Without the fuel, the car can't go anywhere. Without feeding your body and fueling your body properly, you can't grow. And I have broken it down into 7 different bullet points and 7 different steps that you need to follow and that you need to consider and implement into your diet that is going to help you be efficient and make progress. So obviously the first one, which we covered, was consistency. If you're not eating meals consistently every day, how do you expect to eat in a calorie surplus? How do you expect to get your protein in? And how do you expect to eat to make progress? You need to make sure you're consistent at a baseline level, so making sure you do that is super duper important. Now, the first thing that we need to concern ourselves over is what is called a calorie surplus. If you've never heard of a calorie surplus before, basically just refers to the amount of calories that you need to eat if you want to bulk and gain muscle. So what I'm going to do in the description, I'm going to leave a calorie calculator where you just need to type in some really basic details about your age, your gender, your body weight, your activity level, and then you need to scroll down to where it says show info for weight gain, and then where it says gain 0.5 kilos per week, that should be the amount that you need to eat every single day. Now, the next thing that you need to concern yourself over in terms of diet and executing properly is making sure that you know how many meals you're going to eat every day. Now, I would recommend, from my personal experience, anyone eats anywhere from 3 to 5 meals per day. Ideally, the more meals, the better. However, I completely understand that people are busy, and sometimes in my case as well, I can only eat a certain amount of meals. So staying in between that range is going to be absolutely perfect. Now, making sure that you know how many meals you're going to eat is super duper important, because ideally, in terms of your diet, you want to have a plan. You want to know what you're doing, and you want to be organized. You want to establish a plan, and these steps that I'm going to be going over is basically how you establish your diet plan, which is going to help you achieve your calorie surplus goal. The calorie surplus goal is basically like identifying the destination or where you want to go, and then what I'm going to be talking about now is you building your roadmap in order to get towards the destination. The first step towards that is making sure you identify how many meals you're going to eat throughout the day in order to get to this point. The next thing you want to concern yourself over is your meal times, right? When are you going to be eating your meals? This is another really, really important thing, not just so you can keep your routine and become predictable with your habits, but because you become predictable with your habits, we have a hormone in our body called ghrelin. Basically just refers to our appetite hormone. So when our ghrelin hormone releases in our body, it triggers hunger, and that's when we start to feel hungry. If you're eating your meals at the exact same time every day, your body is going to pick up on this habit. Therefore, it's just going to make things a whole lot easier for you to stay consistent. Now, the fifth thing that has proved important to my progress is keeping your meals similar. Now, this may sound boring, but it doesn't have to be boring. It can only be boring if you want it to be. You may be thinking right now, oh, by similar meals you mean chicken, broccoli and rice, and no, I don't. I don't mean that at all, because honestly, I don't necessarily eat that too much, right? What I mean is picking a handful of meals that are healthy, easy to prepare, easily accessible, and that they're calorie dense. And you want to pick meals that you really, really enjoy, that you can have without getting bored, right? So for example, one thing with me, I absolutely love to have eggs on toast. I do not get bored of eggs on toast, and it actually makes me hungry thinking about it right now. I have that every single day. It's healthy, it's calorie dense, it's effective, and most importantly, I enjoy it. The penultimate thing that I want to mention is meal prep ahead of time. You want to sort of build a system for yourself of when you're going to prepare meals. So if you're a busy guy and you're out all day, then you may want to block out a few hours on two separate occasions throughout the week where you just bulk prepare certain meals. And the final thing that I want to talk about, maybe a little bit controversial, make sure to incorporate cheat meals into your diet. I don't mean meals as in every single day and just eat like shit, but I mean 1 or 2 meals a week. Incorporate some off-plan meals. So, you know, if you want to have a pizza on a Friday night, you can definitely have a pizza. The reason why I say to incorporate cheat meals or off-plan meals into your diet is because you want to keep motivated to eat clean, and most importantly, you want to satisfy your cravings, because as humans we appreciate what we don't have and we desire what we don't have. Now if you just go cold turkey with cheat meals and off-plan meals just like that, such as a pizza, a burger, and whatever it is, your craving for it over time is going to build up, and that is how people get into bad binges and they go completely off plan. However, if you give yourself that pleasure every now and then of having a little cheat meal, then it's going to keep you motivated, and it's going to actually make you appreciate the clean food even more, and it's going to get you motivated to get back on track. Now, that is pillar 2 covered. Now, onto the final pillar, which is recovery. Now, recovery is super important for building muscle, because you've got to think about it like a phone battery. Without a phone charger, a phone can't recharge and it can't recover, and it's the exact same thing with our body. So the first thing that I'd recommend is having at least 2 to 3 rest days per week. So that means not going to the gym, not training, and just giving your body that time to relax. The next thing that you need to prioritize for recovery is making sure you sleep properly. Anywhere from 7 to 9 hours a night is recommended by scientists. From previous experience, I noticed that I feel the best and I have the most energy and I feel the best in the gym when I have a good quality sleep. You can do things such as have nose tape, you can wear blue light blockers before you go to bed. There's some things I do and they really help me with my sleep. And also something else as well which can help you is not eating a whole lot of food before you go to bed. The next thing that is really effective is hydration, just making sure that you're drinking enough throughout the day. The recommended amount for males is 3.7 litres according to Harvard. However, I just think about it as I have a pint or two of water with my meals, and when I wake up in the morning I have a pint of water with creatine and pink salt, and when I'm at the gym I just drink a lot of water anyway. When I'm working I always have a pint glass with me, or I have a water bottle, so I'm staying hydrated through there. The next thing is a little bit unusual, but mindful practices such as journaling or meditation. Not only does this help you physically relax, but it also helps you mentally relax, and when you're mentally relaxed and your headspace is clear and you're not stressed, and that's going to help your physical progress. So really simple things like that that can make the biggest differences. The next thing is, if you have access to a spa such as a sauna, cold showers, cold plunges, use them a few times a week, because they will really help in their own ways, and I can go into that but I don't necessarily need to. And in my opinion, the most important thing for recovery is healthy food, making sure you're staying on plan with your diet, feeding your body the proper nutrients. Loads of people look at recovery days and rest days as an excuse to go off diet. However, arguably that is the most important time where you need to stay on your diet to aid your muscles and your body in its state of vulnerability. So I hope that clears up muscle growth in the simplest way possible. They're genuinely the factors that you need to concern yourself over, and that is it. Now, if you have enjoyed this video and you found it useful and it's simplified a lot of things for you and given you a little bit of clarity, make sure to drop a like, leave a comment down below, as that really helps as well. And if you want to stay around for more videos like this and more simplification of the process of muscle growth and just making the process as easy as possible, a subscription will go such a long way. Now, if you want to go to the next level and make things as simple as possible, get some personalized and tailored advice from me, which is going to help you, then I'm going to leave an application towards my one-on-one coaching in the description, where we can talk and we can see whether you're a good fit and whether I can help you completely change your physique. Now, I'm going to leave you guys there. Thank you very much for watching. Have a good day. All the best. Bye bye.